Hello, today we are going to talk about introduction of hash function and its properties. Hash function is one of the authentication technique that we use in cybersecurity. So we will talk about this in our today's lecture. First, let me tell you about me. I am currently studying in VIT University, Chennai campus in BTech Computer Science. I am currently studying in my third year. And let me tell you about today's outline, what we are going to learn today. And first, we are going to talk about what is cybersecurity, then that the need of authentication, and then the hash function introduction. What is the hash function is basically, and then working of hash function, how hash function works, and then the various properties of hash function. Means how what are the properties that we have in hash function, and then we will talk about some of the requirement of hash function when we will tell the what is the hash function, and then we take an simple example of hash function today. So now we will talk cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is protection of computer system from theft or damage to their hardware, software, and electronic data, as well as from disruption or misdirection of services. In cybersecurity, just we are going to secure the system and its data. That is the basic meaning of cybersecurity. Now let me move on to the need of authentication. First, from taking the need of authentication, talking about need of authentication, we will talk about message authentication. What is the authentication? Message authentication is the procedure to verify that received messages come from the alleged source and have not been altered. Message authentication, let take an example like two friends, Ram and Sham. They are both sending message to each other via letters, and there will be a postman. There will maybe a chance that postman alter their messages. So how will they know that the Ram will know that the letter had came from Shah? So in these cases, there should be some kind of a message in their letters that it will know that Ram will know that it had came from Shah. This is the basically message authentication. Message authentication may also verify sequencing and the timeliness, and a digital signature is an authentication technique that also includes measures to counter repudiation by the source. So the need of authentication we will have talked like in this Ramsham example. So this is the basic need of the authentication. Now let's move on to the next topic, or the topic of the day, hash function. Its introduction. Let's talk what is the hash function. Hash function accepts a variable message m as the input and produces a fixed output referred to as a hash code m. So what is a hash function? A hash function is a variation on message authentication code is one-way hash function. Okay. The hash function what it does, it taken a variable size of message, any message m as an input, and then produces a output of fixed size. The fixed size will be given in the algorithm. This is the and that output is called as a hash code. A hash code does not use a key but is a function only of the input message known as message digest or hash value. Unlike other cybersecurity techniques, this technique does not use any kind of key and all that. It uses only a function to convert our message. Okay. So this is okay, and then next we will move on to the working of hash function. How the hash function works. So in every message sending, there will be a source and will be a destination. Now the message the user will take as an input, and then if first in one line we have sent the message as it is, and then the second we have applied the hash function on the our given message, and then it will both will be combined, and then it will be sent, and then that message will be encrypted with a key K, and then that encrypted message will be sent to the destination. Then it will be decrypted, and then we will get another message in which we have included message and the hash function applied message both. Then we will different. They will separate the message and the hash function message, and the message will the given message will also in on the given message we will also apply the hash function, and they will compare both the message this message and then this one, and if both are equal, then we will say that the working of hash function there, then we will say that both messages are correct, and then the message have come from alleged source, means the message came from A, and if not, then it will be discarded, and then we will told to A that there will maybe some problem with the connection, and then we will send a new message. So that's how the hash function works. Now let's talk of the representation that we have in this we have told, and now move to the next slide and the various combination of hashing and encryption. Now we'll talk about the how many types that like many types we can use our hashing. Like we just take a message, and then we take hashing function on the message, and then we encrypt the hashed message, and then we include both them, and then send the message. And this can we do, and we can also do the encryption on the both path, like in the hashing path and in the encryption path. Like this we can also use our hash function. So there are many methods to use the hash function and find do the authentication techniques. Now we'll talk about the properties of the hash function. There are mainly three properties of hash function. Then we will talk about first property is the pre-image resistance. This property means that it should be computationally hard to reverse a hash function. In other words, if a hash function h is produced a hash value z, then it should be difficult process to find any input value z that hashes to x that hashes to z. This property protects against an attacker who only has hash value and it's trying to find its input. So this property says that if we used a hash function on an x and we found z, then it will be very hard to reverse the process, means using z finding the x. The, if this function satisfies the property this property, then it can be called hash function. Then we will move to the next property, second pre-image resistance. This property means given an input and its hash, it should be hard to find different input with the same hash. Means that we have given two input x and y, and it will be hard if both the function gives same value. Means doing the hash on the both the inputs, they give same hash code. This property defines that if a hash function gives like both the for two different inputs same hash code, then it will be discarded as a hash function. Now the third property, collision resistance. This means that it should be hard to find two different input of any length that result into the same hash. Like in other words, for a hash function h, it is hard to find any two different inputs x and y such that h of x equals to h of y. Since hash function is compressed function with fixed hash length, it is impossible for a hash function not to have collision. This property of collision free only confirms that this collision should be hard to find. This property makes it very difficult for an attacker to find two input value with the same uh, hash value. So collision resistant property tells that. So now we have studied both all the three properties of the hash function. If a hash function satisfies these three properties, then we can use this hash function in an algorithm. Now we will talk about the requirements of the this variable input size. A hash function should have a variable input size. Means the in a hash function the input size should be variable and the output size should be fixed, and efficiency of the hash function would be very good. Like h of x is relatively easy to compute for